Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 4th. This week, you have this Moth Spirit card. It says, appreciate where you are in your journey instead of wishing it were easier or different. You have this Temptation card. It says, what is tempting you at this moment may not be a wise choice. And yes, in the all the August readings had like the devil, so I would definitely be careful of any like temptations. I think it'll be obvious like what the temptation is, so it's going to be different for all of you, but I would that's what I would be wishing for, is to avoid temptations, right? And you have this Moth Spirit, which says, appreciate where you are in your journey instead of wishing it were easier or different. I feel like this is about like wishing that you are better, basically. It's like we don't really want things necessarily. I think wishing for things to be easier in life isn't always the right answer. It's like, sometimes it's like people say they want money because they think it'll make their life easier, but money isn't necessarily easy to handle, right? If it was, we would all have a lot more of it. So it's like we shouldn't wish that things get easier. I think, I don't remember who it was, but someone famous, it might be Les Brown, it might be someone else who says, or I can't remember, right? But they say, don't wish for things to be easier, wish that you get better, right? And wish that you are stronger, wish that you could handle things in a better way. And, that's what I feel like you should be wishing for here, Aquarius. I don't know if I said this, but this is for the week of August 4th. And in your first row, for your current general energies, you have the Emperor, the Queen of Wands, and the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely a good time to take the lead in your life. We have all this energy in Aries. I think that over the next many years, a lot of the Emperor is just going to be a very common card to see in readings, because Neptune and Aries, right? Neptune and Aries wants us to take control of our own life. And the trick is that I think with Neptune, like part of Neptune and Aries, I believe, according to Chris's crappy astrology here, will be that people will be looking for a savior. Basically people will be looking for someone who has all the answers. But the down and dirty simple trick of Neptune and Aries is to realize that only you have the answers and to live your life that way. It's also very interesting, Aquarius, that we have Pluto and Aquarius. Again, according to Chris's crappy astrology here, I believe that Pluto and Aquarius wants us all to be a star, right? Whatever the hell that means to you. And so, we all have to be a living example. But again, if we're following someone else's example, then we're not doing that. But if we follow our own example and we become the example, then, that's basically a good thing. And that's what I feel like the Emperor is saying. Could this be love? Sure, you do have a little bit of love here. You have the Ten of Cups. So if you're looking for love, could also be an Emperor-type person. Again, next you have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, I also think, is going to be a very common card. But you're the only person that's had it this week so far, or you're the only person that's had a message like this. And the Queen of Wands, she kind of like marches to the beat of her own drum. She does her own thing. She's my card of learning as you go. So everything I just said on the Emperor, right? Learning as you go. You are, I think that you might be. I just get this feeling. Let me back up a little bit and say this here, Aquarius. I get this feeling for you that you are in a space where you're having a lot of ideas, like a lot of dreams, maybe even for life, or things that you want to create. And I feel like the universe is just like, yes, 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 to like all these things that you're thinking about right now, right? And I feel the Queen of Wands is saying, well, you have the Two of Pentacles as well. It's like the difference between like thinking, like, okay, this is what I can realistically have. I'm getting somewhere with this, so bear with me. Sorry. It's like you have these thoughts where I think they're not realistic, right? Well, actually, they could be, and that's what you need to realize. Is you might be thinking, oh, this is just a fantasy, and then you have these other. Then you kind of cancel out these fantasy thoughts with this realism thing, and you're saying like, oh, but I have to be realistic. I feel like this reading is saying no. You need to not be realistic at this time, Aquarius. I think it's time for you to be dreaming and like working towards dreams and things like that. The realism, like what's crushing your dreams right now, I feel is maybe like you saying, no one has lived a life like this. Or, if you're coming up with a dream, right? Or something that you want to manifest or a wish that you have, you might be saying like, no one's ever done this before. And what I say, Aquarius, is good. It's because you're the one that's supposed to do it. And so I think you need to believe that with the Queen of Wands. You have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles says this and that are true. It's like whatever you believe to be true is true, right? He's got these Two Pentacles. We normally look at the Two of Pentacles as a card of being too busy, spinning plates, having a lot going on. Personally, I don't really ever think it's a bad card as long as we're balancing the energy, right? Like, it's perfectly fine to be busy with this card as long as you're also working hard and playing hard. But I kind of feel this reading is saying, like, this and that are true. It's like, if you believe that you have to be realistic and you have to live a realistic life, sure. Whatever the hell that means, right? If you believe that things can be amazing and you're beyond your wildest dreams, then sure, you can have it, right? And I feel this is saying, like, you are definitely, like, creating your own reality right now. So make sure it's a good one, right? Make sure it's not a bad one. With the Emperor, yeah, here you go. You have the Lovers. Definitely could be a love connection for those of you that want it. Feels like a little bit of a roller coaster here, going to the Fool to the Eight of Wands. Not a bad roller coaster, I would say. I think this is a good roller coaster, like, as in, it's more like the drop, you know, like you're going up, you know, you come over the drop here. It's like that feeling in your stomach, right? So I don't think this, I'm not talking about butterflies either. I'm talking about, like, you know, this could just be a connection where it's, like, very sudden, you know, where it moves very quickly because of the Eight of Wands. Again, I wouldn't rush anything at this time. We still have Mercury retrograde until the end of the week. So, you know, I wouldn't rush anything at this time. But, I don't know, feels good. We'll probably get more details on this in a minute. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Strength card. I think you have the internal strength. You have the ability to tell your brain to do these impossible dreams or the things that you want to accomplish or live life in a more, you know, extraordinary way or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like the strength needs to come outside. You know, she's doing a display of strength, you know? And so it's like you might have ideas in your head right now. I think you do at this time, Aquarius. You have these big, grand ideas for your life. I don't know, this reading is going to weird places, but I feel like it's good. And, like, I think these are the things that are popping into your head. But now it's time to put it on the outside. It's like, yeah, you have the internal energy correct, actually, is what I feel. But it's like, now it's time to put your work on display. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Six of Wands. Yeah, victory, success, you know, like, literally you being an example. You know, these other people are celebrating this guy right here for his success, but, like, he is a living example. He's being a living example by being on his high horse, right? And, you know, that's what's making him successful. So, you know, I definitely feel it's time for you to, like, put yourself out there and be a success with the Six of Wands. I think that'll be the best thing for you here, Aquarius, and I think it's time for you to be an example, plain and simple. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Higher View card. Yes, you and Leo, you know, all the time. You have this Merry Motive card as well. You and your opposite sign, Leo, always get these cards of needing to see things from a higher perspective. Probably that Pluto energy, maybe, but, you know, I do think it would be very beneficial. Anything you want to accomplish, you know, kind of seeing it from the top down. Being able to see it, you know, all the way, you know, being able to see something you're trying to create. And almost, like, when we look at something from the top down, it's almost like we can build a map on how we're going to accomplish something. So, you know, I think that would be helpful. But, you know, what I would say is kind of, like, what's different for you compared to Leo is, although kind of similar, but I feel like you need to look at everything you've accomplished so far in life with this Higher View card, because, you know, it's like when we do that, it makes whatever we're about to do a lot easier. And, you know, that's what I feel this is saying. The Merry Motive card says, as long as you're in a place of joy, peace, happiness, contentment, then, you know, you can create whatever you want, which this whole entire reading basically says you can create whatever you want. You have the Four Pentacles, the Fool, and the Death card. Four Pentacles is about needing to let go of the old world. Again, I think everybody needs to do this. I feel some signs are waking up to this sooner than other signs, right? And I feel like you're one of the signs, which makes sense with Pluto and Aquarius, and also you are an Aquarius, so you're probably just open to new ideas more easily than other people anyway. You know, Aquarius is the innovator, and so the Four of Pentacles, like, he's wishing that things could be the way they used to be. It's probably the number one thing that I think is holding back people back right now, is that we all could be thinking back to, like, COVID, actually, and thinking, like, oh, I wish things were different, or, you know, this way or that way or whatever. But it's like, you know, we need to realize that we're getting maybe, hopefully, something better, unless, I don't know, you know, unless this gigantic UFO that they're saying is going to blow us up in November or whatever, unless that happens, I don't know, rip, I'll see y'all in heaven, right? But, whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. I just hope it's quick, right? I just want to be vaporized instantly. But if that doesn't happen, then I think we're entering into a positive new world where, we have to fill it with good ideas. And Four of Pentacles is saying you just got to let go of the old ideas. The whole reading is saying that. And you have good ideas, Aquarius, but it also, I believe that you have to be a leader. Like, you have to be the one that's putting these ideas out into the world. You have the Fool. Definitely time to take a risk. Again, things aren't just magically going to happen for you, obviously. And so the Fool says sometimes, like, we have to get started. We have to take that leap of faith to make something happen. And, again, your ideas might be a little bit out there, a little bit innovative, you might be a little bit unsure whether or not they're going to work or not. But again, Queen of Wands, she follows her happiness. She has this sunflower right here. The sunflower points towards the sun. You have this Merry Motive card, which is basically you doing things because they bring you joy. There is no other reason, right? And so I think as long as you're doing things because your heart or your joy or you're feeling bliss when you think about your ideas, as long as you're moving in those directions, things will go well. You have the Death card, definitely a card of a transformation or change. Again, it's like another one of those weird weeks where I'm noticing this. It's like it's been a while since all the readings have had like Death, Judgment, Tower. You have Death and Judgment in your reading, right? And so these are big change cards. And, this could be another one of those weeks where there are some significant changes happening for people. And I think these are going to be positive changes. Again, the retrograde, I'm pretty sure, is over this week. I can't do math. So this is the week of the 4th. I'm pretty sure that means that the last day of the week is the 11th. But like I said, I can't do math, so someone's going to have to tell me in the comments. But the 11th is the last day of the retrograde. So, we're finally ending that retrograde. So it makes sense, that there could be some changes going on here. And, just it is what it is. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, if you want love, again, very good reading for love, for sure. Again, I think you're going to have to take a little bit of a risk here. I think everybody has to take a risk right now if they want love, because love is weird right now. So I think we have to, like, put ourselves out there more. We have to, we have to speak up. We have to, go do things in public, believe it or not. So, there you go. With the Fool, you have the Knight of Swords. Don't rush. It's like, I do think this is one of those things where it is going to move quickly, but I also feel it's saying don't rush. And yes, believe it or not, those two things can be true at the same time. A reading can say this is going to move quickly, but it can also say don't rush. I mean, it's pretty freaking simple. Just don't rush, right? Even if it moves quickly. And so, I don't know. There are some people that watch me that I think are just a little bit too slow sometimes, and they're like, how is that possible? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger here. With the Death card, you have the Star. You being the Star. This is Aquarius right here, right? So I think that you need to be the one that stands out at this time. Like, yeah, sure, there's love here, but in a lot of ways, I think this reading is saying, like, it would be a better week for you to just be the star, right? To be a living example. And that could include love, right? Like, maybe part of your idea of what a good life is would be, having a positive connection. It's like, well, then, go and create that, because that will make you the star, right? And so I feel a lot of you, it's like you could be doing those things with this star energy. Also, you have that higher view card. And on the Star card, we have this bird. It's going to be hard to see on the small one, but there's this ibis right here. And the ibis is the bird of knowledge and wisdom. And so the bird kind of represents getting a bird's eye view on what you're doing in life or where you're going in life. And I think getting a bird's eye view on your kind of like big vision for your life would be a good idea. And so that's what I'm getting there. I also, I would clean up your vision, right? I wish I had, I wish I could explain this in a better way, but it's like, I think that some of you, I've talked to a lot of people before, and it's like they'll say things like, I want $10 million. And then I'll say, like, why do you want $10 million? And they'll talk about, like, their fear of debt, their fear of not having money, and, all these other things, right? And I always tell those people, well, then you're not going to have $10 million, right? You have to get, like, a person who has $10 million probably doesn't worry about debt, right? And so again, it's like to have this star, like I feel like what the card is saying, we have these little stars around it. And these are the 7 stars of the Pleiades on the star card, right? The extra stars. But sometimes I feel what the star is trying to say is that we need to focus on this one star and not all these other little stars here. And so what I mean is that, again, we have to clean up our vision. And we need to make sure that we are actually matching the thing, the star right there, Aquarius, right? So again, I don't know what you all want, but I would look at what you want. And it's popping into my head as like the opposite direction, right? So it's like if you want love, maybe you're saying I want love, but maybe also what's in what you are thinking is so that I'm not alone. It's like that's the part you have to change, is the part that's going the opposite direction, alone, right? So I think if you could, it's almost like if you could clean up your vibe, that you would get something very quickly this week. I don't know. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this reunion card and this pleasure seekers card. I couldn't read that for some reason, but I definitely feel there could be love coming in for you. And it could be, like, I feel this is maybe a past life person. I say that because you do have the judgment card, and, you know, judgment can absolutely be like a past life person. I feel this is a new person. I definitely do not think this is a person from the past or anything. So, you know, even though that says reunion, now it could be a person that you have met before. I just don't think you've ever dated this person, right? And it's kind of funny because I think that you actually could be very attractive at this time. I mean, you have the Queen of Wands and the Star, and it's like you have that pleasure seeker card, but then it's like you have this like one person over here, right? It is kind of funny, Aquarius. You know, it's like some of you, I really do feel it's like maybe you've had opportunities for love for a long time, but it's like maybe now, finally. I feel like saying this month, so maybe the entire month of August and even into September, it's like I think you have a lot of interests, people that are interested, but it's like then like I feel like you could finally be meeting that one person that really kind of stands out. So there you go. You have the 5 of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the 8 of Wands. 5 of Wands is a card of conflict and competition. And again, like I said, I do feel you could be attracting someone, you know, or maybe there's a lot of competition for you. There could also be a lot of competition for this person. I could be wrong, but I feel like I've said this to you recently, Aquarius, that, you know, you could be attracting a person where there's a lot of competition for that person, but it's like maybe they only see you. You know, it's like, you know, again, I feel that a lot. So, you know, it's like popping into my head for you that, yeah, sure, it's like maybe there is a lot of competition for this person, but maybe they don't want it. You know, maybe they're not interested in it. So, you know, there you go. If you're interested in a person where there's competition, go for it. You have the Wheel of Fortune showing up here as well. Yeah, we really are in a time where we need to double down on the good stuff. So I would say that anything good that happens this week, I would double down on it. Expand those good opportunities, expand those wins, create more wins in your life. I also think that it would be a good time for you to start stacking wins. Like, are there what little wins could you start having at this time? And, you know, can you create more of them? And that's what I would be doing with the Star for sure as well. The Star is like a card of winning sometimes, I think. And, you know, I feel like this reading is saying you could be winning more if you stacked those wins. You know, doing little things during your day, that would be more of a win, right? And that's what I would be doing with that card. You have the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands is like a quick success or a quick conclusion. So I feel a lot of you could be charging quickly towards success with the 8 of Wands. I also feel that there could be like a lot more good news coming in for you with the 8 of Wands, or you could be doing something to create good news in your life, right? And so obviously I think that would be a good thing. I feel like it's kind of weird. It's like I feel like you are creating good news. Those are literally the words that are popping into my head. So what the hell does that mean? I have no clue. It's like maybe you're doing something that's allowing you to get good news or something. But it's like you created this. I wonder if you asked, like maybe you asked for something, like a job, for example, and now you're getting approval, right? It's like something you created is popping into my head. The 8 of Wands is also a card of speed. So like I said, whether, you know, I think that if you're attracting love, that it could, like the reading is saying don't rush, but it's probably going to move quickly. And like I said, yes, those two things can be true at once. With the 5 of Wands, you have the Hermit card. Yeah, it's like sometimes I think that we think that there's competition for a person, like in love or whatever, but really maybe they're a hermit. Maybe they never leave the house. here, Aquarius. So it's like maybe maybe they're very attractive, but at the same time, maybe they don't want the attention, right? Maybe they're, kind of like more kind of introspective or whatever. So there you go. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Death card again. So yes, I think you need to get the wheel spinning in this direction. I think we all need to do this. Again, I think we're kind of like in a little bit of a seesaw type of time where it's like the energy's kind of going back and forth, right? We need to get it going this way, right? I think we are in a time where it's like things could go very negative if we're not careful. So, and again, I don't say this to scare people. I say this because obviously I always talk about positivity in my readings, and I talk about how we have to be the ones that are positive. We have to be the ones that create the change. We have to be the ones, that make things go in the good direction. And that's what I would be doing here. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Moon card. Yeah, it's like sometimes it's like I feel that we just, you know what you're doing is what you need to realize. The Moon can say that it can be a card of fears, fantasies, illusions. It's part of the Fool's journey, and you have the Fool here. The whole point of the card is that the Fool has to see something through to the end, and he needs to realize that eventually the sun will come up. Eventually he will get clarity. So anything important, anything that's worth doing in your life right now, Aquarius, it's like, yeah, you might not know all the details, but do it anyway. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Flip the Script card. It says, take charge, and choose your outcome. Can't make this up. This is like the entire reading. I feel like you are flipping the script in your life, or flipping the script on your life, or something like that, with this card by taking charge of your like vision, right? You have this eating and dining. It says nourishment, abundance, and community. And so, yes, I definitely feel that you could be kind of like nourishing yourself. Remember what I said. Like, yeah, there's a person and people here with like the Ten of Cups as well. But I do think that ultimately the reading is asking you to like really put yourself first. Like, take care of yourself, take the lead. Doing all those things, the side effect will probably be better relationships in general. You have the Queen of Cups, the Judgment card, and the Ten of Cups. Queen of Cups is about following your heart. So we really have to follow our heart with the Queen of Cups, and if we do that, we will find success. So she really values like what her heart is telling her to do, and that's it. I would just follow your heart. You have the Judgment card. Judgment can be like a wake-up call. Judgment can also be a reunion. I do feel this. It's like some of you could be attracting a past life connection, or could just be a very strong connection. It's kind of funny because as I said that, it popped into my head that it might not be a past life connection, but you think it is. I think that can happen, that maybe a relationship is really good and you're like, oh, this must be past life because it's so good, but maybe it really isn't. But it doesn't matter. No, it's like if it's good, it's good. Let it be good, right? And that's what I would say here with the Judgment card. You have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups, like fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family, good things happening after a difficult period of time. So definitely could be like fortune after difficulty energy here. I do feel a lot of happiness and joy coming in for you at this time. So yeah, I feel pretty good about this. If you want a family, by the way, and if you're attracting love, definitely could be a person you have a family with. Yes, are you kidding? With the Queen of Cups, you have the Magician. The whole entire reading is kind of like saying you are attracting things into your life. So I always pull the card the Magician is pointing to, which is this card. It says driving. It says autonomy, direction, and responsibility. You are responsible for the direction of your life. Eight of Wands, star. You cannot make this stuff up. The star is about having a North Star, having that one thing that you focus on in life to create and manifest. Eight of Wands is you just go towards that. That's it, right? And like I said, you clean up the vision. It's like there is no wobble in what you want. Like I said, if you want $10 million, then you need to go straight for that, but you also need to get rid of the thoughts that say like debt, the negative side of things, right? And you really need to go deep sometimes, because again, sometimes I think we want something. It's like if we want a relationship, like I said, it's like we say I want a relationship, but like underneath that is I don't want to be alone, right? So we have to correct that. It's like when we correct that underneath thing, that's when we get what we want. And that's what I feel like you need to do here. With the Judgment card, you have the Sun. Amazing. I should have said it because I knew the Sun would pop up with the Moon right here. Definitely saying that the Sun is going to come up. Maybe you are getting a lot of clarity if you have been unclear for a very long period of time. So, that's pretty amazing. And here you go. With the Ten of Cups, This is one heck of a reading. This is probably one of the best readings I've done for you in a while. Aquarius. It's just really good. Like, it has a nice flow. Like, is it like amazing, like an amazing reading, the most amazing reading I've ever seen? No, but it's just like a good reading, right? It just has like a nice flow to it. There's good stuff going on here, but Emperor and the Empress for the Ten of Cups. Yeah, I just like this. I just feel good about it, Aquarius. You have this chair empty. It says someone is leaving your life. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to be leaving your life over the next several years. I don't say this to scare you. I just think Aquarius. I've said it to you before. Like, I'm pretty sure in past readings you've had that birds of a feather card with me, and I'm always saying, Aquarius is changing their environment. You are changing the people you surround yourself with. I just think it's something you're doing. You have this younger man. It says dealings with relationships with a younger man. You have this wheel. It says indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. Star, right? Pick one thing, make it happen. And if you do that, good things will happen. You have this flowers card. It says happiness on it. Yeah, I mean, happiness is the key to success. Again, I think we all need to focus on this, is like happiness, joy, bringing more of that down to earth, right? It's like, I don't know. It's one of those things. I just look at what's happening in the world. I'm like, well, all these things are clearly spells that are happening on us. And, I have to be careful with what I say here on YouTube, but I believe that the only way to counteract these spells is to focus on the opposite direction. Be happy no matter what, and bring more happiness, joy, peace into the world no matter what. And if you do that, good things will happen. You have this cat card. It says a two-faced friend. Like, I would, again, with so many people getting the devil in the August readings and the July readings, yeah, like I would just be careful of this. And I think you will pick up. It's like not a secret. If you have a person that's like acting weird or acting different, trust that. Listen to your inner voice and avoid it. You have this rainbow card that says most difficult part of a situation is over. Really good reading, Aquarius. Like I said, I think there's a lot of improvements here. A lot of good stuff here. So love it. Thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.